So recently I've taken up knitting. Not super recently, I started in January. Still not, I started this in January and this is how far I've gotten. It is now almost April. Also, I think I did this just like way too big. Like what was I thinking as this? Like I wanted this to be a scarf. Why did I do it this thick? It doesn't make any sense. But I started it as a way I don't really like to do New Year's resolutions because I think that it's kind of like, I think it's a little, like, why do you have to do it on New Year's? Like, I get, like, starting a new year that way. Like, I get it, I do. But personally, I don't really like the idea of New Year's resolutions. I'd rather just be like, let's start a new thing when I please. But, this New Year's happened to be around a time of, like, change for me. And I was like not doing very well in like November, December. I was pretty bummed, going through a breakup. It was rough. And then like by the end of December, I was like, I'm done with this shit. I'm not gonna be like a sad little bitch anymore. I'm gonna like get my shit together and like start having some fun. So in January, I was like, okay, like as soon as I get back to school. See, this is why it came right around New Year's, but it wasn't like a New Year's resolution. It was just like a starting back at school, like not being at home sort of thing. So I was like, okay, starting this year or like this quarter, I'm going to like do things that are fun, that I enjoy, and that are like independent of that guy that I was dating. And I was like, just trying to figure out who I am again, I guess, because we only dated for 10 months, but we were like kind of involved for like a little over a year, I guess, and we were very like connected. And I did like literally like I spent every single day with him like all day long unless we were like in class. So it was just silly. And I need to learn how to like be by myself again. So I started knitting, and I also started like doing clay and stuff like that. And I used to work at a ceramic studio and I really, really loved it. It was like my favorite thing in the world. So I bought some like air dry clay and started trying to make things, but like air dry clay is not the same as like clay that you'd use to like actually put in a kiln and like actually make things, you know, like useful things. So I've been doing these weird little like figurines. That's not really the right word. They're almost like busts because they're like of people's faces, but they're like super super unrealistic. Like one eye's like this big, the other's like this big, and like their mouth is all like skewed, and they're like meant to look not real. Because in all honesty, I like can't make them look real, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna roll with that and like make them not look real and like make that be the thing. But yeah, so I started doing that. I was like planning on painting. I like brought all of my art stuff to school, brought my musical instruments, brought all sorts of shit, and what do you know? I got this far in a scarf, and then I was like, bored of this, not gonna do it anymore. And then I just like didn't do anything, but I did end up like finding myself anyway. Just kind of like through the process of getting over him, I guess. I was just kind of like, I don't even know how I did it, honestly. I think I just like hung out with my friends a lot, and like I feel really bad because when we broke up in November, and I like really clung on to my friends. I was like, I need you every second of the day to like help me. And they were very nice and wonderful friends, and they were like, yeah, anything you need, like we're here for you, which is so sweet. And they really didn't have to do that, but they're all amazing and I love them. So they did. And then we went off for like winter break, and I was not doing the best. I was trying to like get over it, but I was having a really hard time, and we were very back and forth as well, so it was rough. But bottom line, I got over it when I got back to school and started doing more things, because these like hobbies that I was trying to pick up, I'm just like not a hobby person, you know? Like that's just not how I roll. I just don't I don't know. I like wish that I was like a passionate person about like certain, like I wish I had passions about things, like literally anything, but like I just I just don't. I'm like, I haven't found the thing that I'm like really into, you know? And like, when I was little, I was like, I was really into bugs. I don't know. I was like, but like not in like the classic like bug girl kind of way. Like I was like a weird, like, I ate worms a couple times. It was, the first time, it was a dare. The second time, it was to prove that I had done it the first time. And the third time, I also believe it was to prove that I had done it the first time. But I was like that kid. I was like a weirdo. And like all kids are weird, so like, you know, not that crazy, but you know, it's a little strange to be a worm eating little girl. But yeah, I like never had a hobby, and like I think I really liked horses for a while, and I would like draw them a lot. I guess drawing was kind of a hobby. Like I drew a lot. I was really into that. I was really into art, but I don't know, as I like got older, I think a lot of it has to do with like television and screens and how much I became like attached to that, because I think I was a really creative kid when I was little, and then around 5th grade is when I started like my creativity started dwindling, and I coincidentally, but not really, right around that same time is when I got my first iPod Touch, and I actually bought it myself and saved up all the money in 2 weekends, and I believe it was $200. So that was like $100 a weekend that I was making, which is crazy because I was 10, 11, somewhere around there. And I literally just like walked around the neighborhood and knocked on doors and was like, hi, do you guys have a job for me? Like I want a job. And like some neighbors would put me to work doing like yard work, and some would like have me vacuum their house or like clean their windows, stuff like that. And it was, I think, a really good like lesson for me to learn that like you don't just like get what you want, like you have to work for it. And like I mean like it was obviously like a little like that doesn't always work for everyone, you know? Like you can't just like go out in your neighborhood and ask for jobs. Like a lot of people just like won't give you jobs, or it's like too dangerous. But like I lived in like a little like a nice little area. Everyone knew who I was. So like all the neighbors that I was like working for, like they knew who I was, and and they were just trying to like help me because they knew that I like really wanted this thing. And I had like worked for them before for like extended periods of time, and like I would just like do little jobs here and there just because my parents didn't like buy me stuff when I was little. Like they'd buy me the necessities, but if I wanted anything that was like non-essential, they're like, yeah, no, you're gonna buy that yourself. So like I quickly learned to find a way to make money. And while I really hated it at the time and got really annoyed that they wouldn't give me money for things that I wanted, I think it was like a valuable lesson in the end, because it made me like really understand like the value in like hard work, as cheesy as that sounds. But like it is important to like not have things just like fall into your lap. But then sometimes I wonder if things do just fall into my lap, like because I feel like I've like, even though I did have to like work hard for some things, like I feel like things never really were like that difficult for me. But like I don't know why, because like I grew up like did not have very much money at all, and like yeah, and it was like rough for a lot of like we were on food stamps for a little while. Like it's not like I feel like I don't present like it doesn't seem like that would be like the kind of life that I like lived when I was a kid, but like it was. And it was like really hard, but I feel like even though that was like the how my life was, I feel like oh shit, there's like why is this knotted? Fuck. Oh there we go, okay. But I feel like I still was like I still somehow managed to like do things like get things really easily. Like this like winter quarter I wanted to go to Spain, or I wanted to do study abroad, and I wanted to do it in Europe, and I had to do a senior capstone, and there happened to be a summer abroad senior capstone in Spain, and I was like, oh my god, perfect, this is what I want to do. And I like didn't have any connections to like usually I feel like I got things like a little bit through like nepotism, But, you know, I feel like that's how a lot of people get things. Like, we would just, like, happen to know someone who was, like, in this department who could, like, help me get this. Like, that was through, like, high school, though. Or, like, my mom, like, got me a job at, like, a ceramic studio because she worked for the lady as, like, as her bookkeeper. And, like, that's just kind of, like, how things worked for a while. And, like, when I was 14, like, I worked at the marina in my neighborhood because I had, like, gone there, like, my entire life when I was little, and they, like, knew who I was, and they're like, yeah, like, we'll hire you. So, like, things like that. And, like, pretty much all of my jobs that I can think of up until the time I went to college, I got because of, like, people I knew. And then I went to college, and I was thinking, like, oh shit, like, I don't know anyone here, like, it's gonna be a lot harder for me to get these things. And it wasn't. And I was like, is that, like, why? Like, why is that not hard? That doesn't really make any sense. And it feels, like, very unfair that things are, like, come so easily to me, I guess, because I don't really have, like, I don't feel like I deserve it, honestly. Like, not that I, like, suck. I don't. I'm fine. I'm, like, a relatively good person. I feel like I have, like, okay karma. But, like, I'm by no means, like, a really, like, wonderful, like, super, super nice person. Like, I can be a little bit of a bitch sometimes, and, like, I can be a little shithead. Yet, like, still, I feel like I have just, like, so much weird, like, good karma, and it doesn't really make any sense. So, I guess I just, like, wonder what, like, how does that work? Is there something that is, like, working in my favor to get me these things? Is it, like, the fact that I had all of these jobs before that, like, they made my resume good, so now I can get jobs easier? Or is it, like, I just, like, don't know what it could be. And, like, when I am, like, doing interviews, I feel like I'm, like, the dumbest person in the world. Like, they'll ask me something, I'm like, let me think about that for a second. And then I just, like, sit there for so long, and I'm like, you know, this is a really hard question. Just give me a second. And it's like, dude, fucking, like, blurt out an answer. Who gives a shit? Like, it's not that hard of a question. But, like, they are hard questions. Interviews are fucking hard. I hate them, man. I hate them. But, yeah, I don't know. So, I just don't, yeah, bottom line, I just don't understand how things come easily to me. And I don't even, what if they, like, just don't come easily to me, and this is all, like, a weird illusion in my mind, and, like, none of it is true. I'm just, like, imagining it to be true. And what if I'm, like, actually working hard at things, but it seems like I'm not because I'm just so used to working hard at things? No, I'm not. I'm really not, I don't think. Like, just the fact that I applied to something doesn't mean I'm working hard, you know? Like, I applied to a job, it's like, wow, you just really worked so hard doing that. It's like that application was on Indeed and it took me 2 seconds. Like, no. But, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm grateful that things are working out in the way that they are. And I'm grateful that I have had the opportunities that I have had. It just confuses me sometimes. And this, like, probably makes no sense. People are probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? But, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's just how it's going. But I don't remember how I got here from knitting. But, yeah. So this is how far I've gotten. I think it's been, like, 2 rows. I don't know why I did it so thick. I don't know why I did it so thick. And I don't want to, like, start over again because then I'd have to, like, roll up the whole yarn ball, and that seems like a ton of work. And also just, like, I worked on this. I don't want it to go away. And I have another yarn ball. It's more like an oval. But, after this one is gone, I will use that one. And this, like, I feel like if I double this length and I, like, it'll be a little more than double, but, like, if I about double this length and then, like, sewed it together at, like, the end, maybe it could turn into, like, a weird, like, circle scarf that wouldn't look like trash, but, like, honestly, it's probably gonna look really bad. And then I'm just gonna be sad because I, like, spent so much time working on it. I didn't even spend that, like, I spent months on it, but, like, not really because I didn't spend, like, the majority of the time, doing anything related to knitting. But I'm gonna keep going with it. We're gonna see how this goes. Yeah, I love it. Also, I'm eating popcorn right now, and God, it's so good. I fucking love popcorn. This one has butter and nutritional yeast on it, and salt, of course. It's just so, like, nutritional yeast, fuck. It's so good. I don't understand how it's so good. And, like, my roommate, she puts, also, I fucking love her. She puts furikake on it, and I feel like it sounds stupid every time I say that, but it's like, for those of you who don't know, it's like a seaweed, sesame, rice topping, and she's from Hawaii, and she puts that on her popcorn. And it, like, the first time I met her last year, and right in the beginning when we were first hanging out, she like, I had to go over to her room for something, and she had furikake there, or hurricane popcorn. She had hurricane popcorn there, which has furikake in it, and it has like a ton of, she was like homemade. It was so good, and I was like, dude, what the fuck is this? This is the most amazing thing I've ever eaten in my life. And then she like told me how to make it, and like now anytime I have the ingredients, I make it, and I am so pleased because it's so delicious and so tasty, and it just makes me so happy. And we're living together next year too, and I'm really excited about it. We were looking at apartments like right before coronavirus happened, and she had to go home and I had to go home. But yeah, apartment hunting is fun. It's fun. I mean, like, I know it can be stressful for some people, but like, damn, I really enjoy it. Like, just looking at spaces. I don't know what it is about that, but it's really cool. And like imagining where things are gonna go. For a while I wanted to be an interior designer, and like that was my jam. I was like, dude, a couch could go here, and like a chair right here, and like a lamp. And I'm like, I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it, but I'm really excited to actually decorate our apartment. I don't want to do anything like frilly or like crazy. I just want to do like nice couch, nice chair, a mirror, maybe a piece of art, hopefully, a rug probably, and I have some stuff left over from my apartment now, and I have some stuff that my grandma left us when she died, including a rug. And I haven't seen the rug in a while, but I think it's the right size for like the place, like a size apartment that we're looking at, and like for the living room area. And I think it could fit well. It's okay. It's zebra stripe, and I'm like not a zebra stripe person by any means, like at all. But this one, like, my grandma had very, very nice taste, and this zebra stripe rug is very like classy, which like seems like such a like oxymoron, like classy zebra stripe. Like, that's not a thing, but it is. It looks really nice, I think. But from my memory, it looks really nice. So I think we could use that. I have a mattress that was like an extra one that we had at our house after my parents got a new one, but they like complained about their backs hurting all the time with this old one, and they're like, you can have it. I'm like, I already have back problems. Like, I don't think that's the best idea, but who knows? We shall see what happens. But I'm really just like looking forward to all that sort of stuff, and I don't know. Something has just gotten, like, I just got bit by a bug that has made me really, really excited for life. And I'm glad it's happening now, because I feel like this is a time where everyone's just gonna get like super depressed. But like, I feel pretty good. And I hope that doesn't run out by the time this whole thing is over, because I want to like keep on being excited and jazzed about everything. Yeah, so that was a nice little chit chat. I feel like since I have been home alone, this has been like, talking to a camera has been just like a really nice outlet, because sometimes saying things out loud just like, it just really helps my mind process everything a lot better than just like writing it down sometimes. Also, like, I don't know, sometimes I just want everything that I write down to like be cohesive, and that's not how my thoughts come out. Obviously, if you watched this entire video, you can really tell that I'm bouncing all over the place in my mind, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about most of the time. And like, literally, I probably couldn't even recount what I've just said in this entire video. Like, I'd probably be like, started with knitting, and then talked about like jobs and stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. Stuff just pops around my head a lot. Doesn't really make any sense. Wish that it did. Wish that I was a little bit more like on track with my thoughts and like could stick to one thing. Maybe have like ADHD. I don't know. Wouldn't really be surprised. But yeah, so that's all for today. I'm gonna keep knitting and keep eating popcorn. Yeah, so bye.